ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Okay. So in the last session we were looking at Varaha Purana, so we will continue looking at the same. If all of you remember, I think we were looking at Maya Kshetram, that is Haridwar. So we will continue now. Next is the Rishikesh. So whenever you go to Haridwar, that is in Uttarakhand, we do make a visit, we do make a trip to Rishikesh. So if you go to Haridwar, you must visit Rishikesh and vice versa. So both are Haridwar, Rishikesh. These are two places that are always visited together. So next is the Rishikesh Tirtha. Today that we call as Rishikesh, this city. Earlier it was called as Kubjamraka Tirtha. Kubjamraka Tirtha. So how this Tirtha was formed? For this, now as we know, Varaha Purana is a conversation between Lord Varaha and Prithvi, that is goddess Earth. So he says that in the Satya Yuga, when Prithvi, that is when the earth was submerged underwater, at that time two mighty demons were killed, that is Madhu and Kaitaba. And at that time it is said that there was a sage, Raimya. He was doing a lot of tapasya and he was a great devotee also of Lord Vishnu. So Varaha says that I was extremely impressed by him and I hid myself behind a mango tree. So just to see how Raimya's penance and everything is going on, when will he come out of that and so on. So it is said that the mango tree behind whom Vishnu was standing, due to the weight of the Lord, it seemed that the mango tree started twisting. So it could not bear the weight of Lord Vishnu and it became curved. And it is said that this is how that Kubjamraka Tirtha, that is today's current Rishikesh that we call about, this is how this Tirtha was found. And very soon Raimya also found out that the Lord was hiding behind the mango tree and said that now because you have done this, this place has also become very famous because of the tilted mango tree. Because of you, the mango tree also has got curved. So you make it the very holiest of all different places that is there. And thus the Kubjamraka Tirtha became the one of the holiest places. And there are other places also that are there. So even today if you go to Rishikesh, you see there are many holy places that you can see. For example, the Manasi Tirtha, Maya Tirtha, Purnamukha Tirtha. You have the river Ganga only flowing there. So you have different holy places throughout the city. So this is how this place, and it is said that people who visit this Kubjamraka Tirtha, they are capable of getting moksha. So this is the significance of this place. So next is Badrikashrama. So usually if you see in the Varaha Purana, we have a lot of reference to places in the Himalayas starting from Uttarakhand and so on. So next is Badrikashrama. So Lord Varaha, he continues, he tells Prithvi that there is also a sacred place in the Himalayas which is very difficult to climb. That is the reason why even today we have the Chardham Yatra that is not quite easy to complete, right? So you have to put in a lot of efforts, physical exertion and so on. And it is known as Badrikashrama. It is one of the important holy places, Hindu holy places. And it is said that one who makes a pilgrimage to this place, all his wishes are fulfilled. And next, at the top of Badrikashrama, we have a kunda that's called the Brahma Kunda. Maybe people who have visited this place, you would have seen this place. That's called the Brahma Kunda, wherein people usually will take a bath. Now all these kundas and tirthas, they will usually be, tributaries or small places, small water bodies that have originated from the Ganga only. Because mainly the river that flows there is Ganga. Or in like Yamunotri, it will be Yamuna. So Ganga and Yamuna, so usually all these tirthas or small kundas, kunda is nothing but like a small pond sort of water body. So all this would have come from the nearby river that is flowing. And it is said that one who observes fast for 3 consecutive, that is 3 continuous nights, and then takes a holy dip in this Brahma Kunda, it is said that you get the benefit as if you have done the Agnishtoma Yajna. What is this Agnishtoma Yajna? It is a sacrifice that is done. How we have different sacrifices like Rajasuya Yajna, Ashwamedha sacrifice. Like this, you have one this Agnishtoma. So the benefits of that also takes place. And it is said that this place also, in general, it is a very holy place. This Badrikashrama, people taking a dip in the holy river and so on. And nearby Badrikashrama also, there are other holy places that have to be visited. And there is also a very famous place called Vedadhar. Vedadhar it is called. It is the place wherein the Vedas, the 4 Vedas have come out from the mouth of Lord Vishnu or Lord Brahma. So this is also a very famous place that is popular in Badrikashrama. Next is a Mandara Tirtha. This place is also in the Himalayas. It is known after a tree. It's basically a celestial or a heavenly tree called Mandara. From that this place has come, the Mandara Tirtha. It is situated at the foothills, not of the Himalayas, on the foothills of the Vindhya mountain. So Vindhyas, usually you can find them in the central part of India, how you have the Sahyadris and so on. Similarly, you have the Vindhyas. So this Mandara Tirtha has originated at the foothills of the Vindhya mountain. And there are different of these mandar trees, and it is said that this tree is visible only on Dwadashi and Chaturdashi days, and it becomes invisible on the rest of the days. So this is a belief that is maybe people whom we actually go and find out this tree on the foothills of the Vindhya mountain, only then we can jump to a conclusion, but this is what has been mentioned in the Varaha Purana. Then there is one more holy place of Mandara, but that is situated on the Meru mountain, the Meru Parvata. So like this, there are different features that I've mentioned with regards to this Mandara Tirtha, and it is also said that there are different rocks, huge rocks there resembling a mace, then a wheel like a Sudarshana Chakra, then a plough for Lord Balarama, a conch, Shankha and so on. So all this shows that this place has got something to do with Lord Vishnu. Next is the Someshwara Linga. Now Someshwara Linga is the Someshwara temple which is there. So this Someshwara Linga, if you see, I'll tell you the exact place where it is today. So this Someshwara Linga, this temple, I think today some people call it to be the Somnath temple, but it is also situated, there is a Someshwara temple even in today's Karnataka, that is in the city of Bangalore. I think it is of Kollar, in the place called Kollar. So there also we have a Someshwara temple that is there. So like this, there are different references that are mentioned, but as per the Purana now, if you consider, it can refer to the Somnath temple because Jyotirlingas are quite popular than the other temples that are there. But just for your information, you can note that Someshwara Linga is also, there is a temple for Someshwara Linga in Kollar district, Bangalore. So it is mainly, you can say, in between Chennai and Bangalore that we travel. But this Someshwara Linga, you can consider a reference to the Jyotirlinga, the Somnath. So it is said that the story behind it is once the moon god had done severe penance, and due to free himself from the curse that was given by Daksha Prajapati, because he was very dear to only one of his wives, Rohini, and all the other daughters of Daksha, Chandradeva was neglecting. So that is the reason he got this curse. And then it is said that Chandradeva, he made a Shivalinga here, he worshipped it, and finally Lord Shiva appeared and told that let this Shivalinga be here only, all the other devotees and the people also will come and worship this linga. And there is also a reservoir, it is said, near this linga where people take a bath and all sins and everything are vanished. Next, you have another Shalagrama Kshetra, or you also call it as the Salagrama. Salagrama, some people call it as Shalagrama also. Next is this place, next the Shalagrama Tirtha is a place where sage Shalankayana, he had performed he had performed lot of penance, sacrifice and so on. Sage's name is Shalankayana. And Lord Varaha says that this person, this sage Shalankayana, he did a lot of penance, and there was a sal tree nearby, SAL, sal tree, and the sage did not know this, and he did not know that the Lord was living in that tree. So usually in those times, if you see, like we saw the previous episode also, where Vishnu was living in the midst of the mango tree, similarly here also the Lord was in the sal tree. So like this, the Lord in those times used to be there even in trees too. So this was a fact that has been mentioned. And it is said that the sage was not aware that Lord Vishnu was nearby, but still he kept on doing penance. Finally, the Lord appeared in front of him, and the sage asked that you bless me with a divine son who has got qualities like Lord Shiva. And it is said that your son Nandikeshwara was already now this Shalankayana's son was Nandikeshwara, the popular we call the Vahana, right? Vahana, Nandi Vahana. His father is the Shalankayana sage. So he said that your son Nandikeshwara has already born and he is presently staying at Mathura. And it is said that this place in the course of time it became famous as a Shalagrama Tirtha, and this place, devotee who visits this place, makes a pilgrimage to this place, is liberated from all kinds of material bondages, or as we say, when we are caught in material life, so person is freed from all that. So mainly this place is where Nandikeshwara's father is found out, sage Shalankayana. That's how the Tirtha has become famous as Shalagrama Tirtha. Next is the Rurukshetra. Now what is this Rurukshetra? Let's have a look. Now how this place came to be known as Ruru is after the daughter of Devadatta. There was a king called Devadatta and an Apsara named Pramlocha. Now Devadatta, this person, he belonged to the lineage of sage Bhrigu. So he was one of the, you can say, the descendant or the successor of sage Bhrigu. And once this Devadatta king also did a lot of tapasya to please Lord Shiva, and for about 10,000 years or so. And now Indra, as usually, became very worried. When someone does terrible tapasya, Indra is very worried, saying that someone will do tapasya and will conquer my place. So he sends an Apsara Pramlocha to distract this king Devadatta. And Devadatta fell into the trap. He was infatuated by Pramlocha, and finally both of them, they lived together for a long time. But later he realized his mistake, this Devadatta, and said that I should not have done this, and he regretted his mistake. And he decided to abandon this Apsara Pramlocha, and once again he started doing penance. And this time, obviously, he was successful in pleasing Shiva, and he attained Shivaloka. Now, meanwhile, what happened is that Pramlocha had become pregnant, and she gave birth to a girl child, but the child died immediately. So what happened? So this is mentioned in some stories, but in most of the stories what is mentioned is Pramlocha gave birth to the girl child, and Pramlocha herself, she died. But Apsaras usually they don't die, so in some references it is mentioned that she returned back to heavens. So this girl was now left all alone. She was bought by a deer, and she was taken care by a deer, Deer, named Ruru. And in the course of time, so this Ruru the deer, she named this girl child also as Ruru only. And the girl then later, she also decided to do a lot of penance. She wanted to please Vishnu. It is said for 100 years or so, she remained still, standing at the same place, and she did penance. Ultimately, Lord Vishnu became very pleased by her devotion, and she requested that you name this place wherein you have come and blessed me, and that place, let it be named as Rurukshetra. People should know that you have come and blessed me. So that's how this place Rurukshetra has been there. Now, with regards to all these tirthas and places that has been mentioned, some places maybe today their names have changed, but still, why we are saying all this is we must know that such places have also existed and what is the story behind that. So for that reason, we are looking at all this. Next is the Gonishkraman Tirtha. Here Lord Shiva told Prithvi. Now here a bit of conversation between goddess Earth and Lord Shiva starts in. So wherein Shiva says that there is a Tirtha in the Himalayas named the Gonikashrama. And here is a place where sage Aurva had done his he had his hermitage here, and it is said that this place was very auspicious because Aurva had done a lot of penance for many years together, and the place has become very sacred. But accidentally what had happened was Lord Shiva had burnt the entire hermitage of Aurva into ashes. So accidentally it had happened, and the sage Aurva, he cursed Shiva. As a result, Shiva, he started wandering throughout the world, like a thoughtless or in a restless manner. So that is the reason, if you have looked at the terrible form of Shiva, that's the reason many people they dread Shiva, right? So wherein he is a Smashanavasi, very terrible to look at, because at some point of time, because the sage Aurva had cursed him, he started roaming the worlds, just in a restless manner, just roaming about here and there that way. And once it is said that Lord Shiva, he visited this ashrama of Aurva along with his wife Uma, and the purpose was, not Aurva, the sage ashrama Aurvanam. Aurvanam is the name of the person, name of the sage whose ashrama Lord Shiva visited. Sage Aurva had cursed Shiva, and later the second sage whose ashrama Shiva and Parvati visited, that was Aurvanam. So this Aurvana sage said that I will help you in curing your restlessness, you are moving about here and there. So what you have to do is you have a bath with the milk of the cow Surabhi. And Lord Vishnu, it is said that he bought then 77 Surabhi cows were bought down, from whose milk Lord Shiva, he took a dip in that, he took a bath, and at last Shiva's restlessness, it came to an end, and all this happened in this place of Gonishkramana, which is located in today's Himalayas. So all this when you will get to know is, if you go to Himalayas, all the local people might tell you all these stories, but from where all these stories have originated, you can get the reference in these Puranas. Next is the Stuta Swami Tirtha. Now Stuta Swami Tirtha is a place wherein at the end of the Dwapara Yuga, not at the end, in the Dwapara Yuga, Varaha tells Prithvi that I will incarnate as Lord Krishna and I shall take place in the house of Vasudeva and Devaki, and about 5 koshas, K-O-S-A-S, this is a unit of measurement, about 5 koshas from this Stuta Swami Tirtha, there will be a pond, and people who take dip in this pond, they will be free from all sins. So this Stuta Swami Tirtha was located somewhere near Gokula, where Lord Varaha says that I will take birth as Lord Krishna in the Dwapara Yuga. So all this maybe now when we are looking, when I am telling you all this, you might not feel very interested. It is less like factual information for you. Okay, there was so and so place, there is some story behind that, that's it. But then for people who study geography also in detail, or to find out, or when today people are doing a lot of research in claiming whether the Ramayana is true, Mahabharata is true, and so on, was Krishna really there, such references or such evidences are used. When Krishna has mentioned, okay, 5 koshas from here there was a pond, there was this Stuta Swami Tirtha, and so on. So researchers actually go and they visit this place to find out whether really if such things are there also. So usually such things, though for us, even though it seems to be just factual information, people and researchers, they use all this information to gather a lot of data and to study more whether something has really happened and so on. Next is Dwaraka. Next is a popular place of Dwaraka, and in this it is said that there is a place in Dwaraka called Panchasara, and here in the Varaha Purana, Varaha mentions that anyone who stays here for 6 days and takes a holy dip in the Panchasara, so Panchasara is like a small river body, he will enjoy all.
Just packing.
Voice is proper, right? Yes?
Yes. Yes, audible.
Okay. So Panchasara.
It is proper.
Okay. So this Panchasara is a place wherein anyone who takes a dip in this place of Panchasara, it is said that that person will enjoy all the pleasures of life. And Dwaraka, as we know, it is situated at the seashore. It was under the seashore, of course, a temple, and only the place where Krishna lived, only that place has been secured, and that's where today's temple is built. If you see, the entire temple was under the seashore. And it is said that the very special peculiarity of this place is people taking a bath in this Panchasara river. It's a small river body. There are a lot of crocodiles living near the seashore, but it is said that people who come and take a bath, all the devotees who come and take a bath in this river, the crocodiles never attack them at all or never trouble the people, so all the people can safely take a dip and they can go. And they have these crocodiles also have a unique feature. What is that is, when you offer them some kind of food, they will eat anything that is offered only by a virtuous person. If the person is a sinner also, now we don't know how the crocodile can make out, but if you have committed a lot of sins, it is said that the crocodile does not eat. It will not accept what you have offered to him, and only from a virtuous person, if the food is offered, the crocodile is said to eat. So such is the, now through all these examples what we get to see is, such is the significance of this place of Dwaraka. Next is, there are several other holy places that are there, like the Panchapinda, Hamsakunda, Chakratirtha, Vishnu Sankaram. Now Vishnu Sankaram is a place where Krishna Avatara has ended, and in the Varaha Purana only this reference Varaha makes that in my incarnation as Lord Krishna, I would be killed by a hunter called Jara. So this is a reference that he gives. Then only this mention was made in the Varaha Purana itself. Next is the Sanandura Tirtha. Sanandura Tirtha. Now this place is located between the Malaya mountain and the ocean. Now there is another holy place where called Sangamana, where Sri Rama, it is said that on his way to Lanka, when he had confronted the ocean, when he had a tussle with the sea god or the ocean god, so that is this place of Sangamana. And there are also many, so mainly you can consider this place in South India, that is, you can say on the borders of India and Sri Lanka, in Tamil Nadu basically. And there are other several places also, and there are hermitages of Sri Rama, Parshurama and so on in this place of Sanandura Tirtha. Next is Lohargala Tirtha. In this place, it is said that this region, it was occupied by Mlechas. Mlechas are, you can consider them to be Adivasis and so on. And this region is surrounded by Himalayas, and in like it is there in the middle. So you have the Himalayas in the southern side as well as in the central side. So like this, there are many references that has been told. So mainly it is there. So this Lohargala Tirtha is there in the middle, and it is surrounded by the Himalayan mountain in the southern side and central side. So around it, and it is situated in the main Himalayan region. So it becomes very difficult to access this region at all. So like it cannot be climbed, like human beings or living creatures cannot be seen there. It is not at all accessible, and it is surrounded only by nature, so you can say trees and snow and other places, because it is there in the Himalayas. So it is not easily accessible. And once it is said that demons tried to invade this place, but they were all killed by Lord Vishnu. And it is said that at this place Lord Vishnu has also seemed to have saved even Lord Brahma as well as Lord Shiva from the demons, and that's how this place has been called as Lohargala. Approximately in about 25 to 30 yojanas area of land, this place is spread about, and it is a self-manifested place. Like no one has made this place also, and therefore it has got a lot of religious importance. It is located in the Himalayan regions. Next is the famous city of Mathura. Mathura, Lord Varaha tells Prithvi that this place is very dear to me because I was born here in the Krishna Avatara. I will be born here. So all this is future. So with this now you can make out that to some extent Varaha Purana is quite, you can say, an ancient or an old Purana. So maybe we will have the Srimad Bhagavata Purana only after the Varaha Purana, because in the Varaha Purana, Varaha gives reference to the Krishna Avatara always in future tense, in Bhavishya Kalaha. I will be born here, I will incarnate here, and so on. So he says that this place is very dear to me because I will be born as Krishna in my incarnation, and it is said that this place cannot be compared to any other holy place. It is very holy in itself. There are many other holy places in and around Mathura. Those who have visited Mathura, you know there are a lot of temples around, and each of these places has got its own religious significance. There is also a pond there in Mathura region called the Vatsakrindana, or some people also call it as Vatsakridana. So there are two places, and anyone who takes a dip in this holy pond gets the abode of Vayu, it is said. And because Vayu Bhagavan, so here again you can, to some extent, though it is not directly mentioned in the Varaha Purana, you can consider this to some extent to the Guruvayur temple that we have in Kerala. That is there Guru and Vayu there. So there also we have a reference of Vayu. So therefore you are attaining the abode of Vayu. That can be one reason why this has been mentioned. Then nearby only we have the Vrindavana place, which is one of the holiest, and there you can mention, Lord Varaha tells Prithvi, you can witness a divine place. There is nothing but the Rasa Leela, Rasa Krida dances with all the Gopikas. Next is the Chakratirtha, which is situated to the north of Mathura, and it is said that Lord Bhadreshwara has his dwelling place here, and a person who makes a pilgrimage to the Chakratirtha and observes a fast for one day is free from all sins. Next is a Kapila Tirtha. So this is a Kapila Varaha, or you can, there is can also be compared to the Kapila Avatara, the sage Kapila that we have. That also comparison can be done. But this is also the Kapila Varaha. That is how this name has come, is the idol of Varaha was made by sage Kapila. So Kapila Muni making the idol of sage Varaha. That's how the place was called as Kapila Varaha. So here this sage Kapila, he was, the Lord says, was a great devotee of mine, and he had made an idol of Lord Varaha and he used to worship it regularly. And later on, Indra got it from this sage Kapila and he started worshipping it. And Ravana also took it to Lanka after defeating Indra, and he, in the Treta Yuga, Sri Rama defeated Ravana, and then Vibhishana started worshipping it. So thus, starting from sage Kapila, it went to Indra, then to Ravana, and ultimately to Vibhishana. And but when Vibhishana had got the idol, it is said that Varaha, the Lord said that you please give it to me now, and that's how Rama has brought that idol, that Varaha's idol, back to Ayodhya. In the Ramavatara, Vishnu in the form of Rama tells Vibhishana that you please give me this idol, I need it. So that's where he brings it back to Ayodhya. And after reaching Ayodhya, after Shatrughna killing Lavanasura, it is said that Rama had gifted this idol of Varaha to Shatrughna, and later on Shatrughna, while going to Mathura, he carried that idol along with him. That's the reason when you read the Ramayana stories, we know that Lavanasura lived in the vicinity of Mathura. So Mathura Desham in some extent has got a lot of reference to Shatrughna also, because he was the one who had defeated Lavanasura and got this gift of this Varaha idol with him. Next is the Govardhana Tirtha. Govardhana Tirtha is a place wherein so Lord Varaha, mainly he continues describing all the different places that he was telling Prithvi. And Govardhana Parvata, that is the same as we have the Govardhana Parvata in the Krishnavatara stories. So this place is situated near Mathura, and Varaha tells to Prithvi that this place will have a lot of importance because I am going to do the Govardhana Leela here in Dwapara Yuga. I shall lift this mountain to protect people. This Govardhana mountain is near the near Mathura region only. There are numerous places of religious importance near it, near the Govardhana mountain, like Indra Tirtha, because it has got reference to Indra. You also have Yama Tirtha, Varuna Tirtha, and so on. There is also a freshwater lake there near the Govardhana Tirtha, that's called the Kadamba Khanda, where people, it is famous for doing the Tarpanam, that is the Shraddha Karma of our ancestors and so on. Next is the Gokarna Tirtha. Now Gokarna Tirtha has got a big story. Let's look at that. So there was a Vaishya, that is a person belonging to a Brahmin community in Mathura, at a place called, he was called as Vasukarna. He was a Vaishya, he lived in Mathura. So Mathura in those times, usually if you see, it belonged to all kinds of Vaishyas only, that is to the business community. So even today, like if you go to Gujarat or Uttar Pradesh, that part that is there, especially in North India, if you consider, mostly we see they all belong to the business community. Business community is nothing but the Vaishyas. Even Krishna also, he belonged to the business community only. That is, they were dealing in milk and milk products, dairy products, right? So that is the reason why even in Mathura also, today also, if you go to see, you will find a lot of dairy farms and so on that are there. Of course, today maybe the things would have changed, people have progressed a lot, but still a few years back it was said that Mathura, this place also was famous, or mainly people used to deal with a lot of these dairy products and so on, maybe rearing of cows. Even like at least a few years back or so, even if you go to Delhi side, a bit of rural Delhi, like when you go in train, when you travel or so, I don't know if still it is now seen, you can see a lot of cow dung patches that are kept. I don't know if anyone has seen that. Like old ladies or rural women, they will have a lot of cow dung patches, they will dry it out in the sun. Maybe they don't live in houses of that, but cow dung cakes that are there, they will keep that ready everywhere. So I don't know what they do with it. Maybe they sell it for puja purposes or what it is. But then even till date, if you go to Delhi side also, you can find a lot of cow dung or cow products that are used till date. And I think even in the stations and in the local areas also, you find a lot of cows and cattle moving about. Maybe not in the very urban area when we have a lot of vehicles and all that, but still in the rural areas, like before the main Delhi station comes, if you have those, the Faridabad and all those stations that come in, there mainly we can witness. When you go on the train especially, you can see all such things. So all this has got reference mainly because that entire area that we have of Uttar Pradesh, Mathura and so on, that was mainly because Krishna Avatara had taken place there. People still, even the successors after Krishna who were there, they used to also deal with a lot of these cows and cow products and so on. So here what happens, there was this Vaishya called Vasukarna, he lived in Mathura. His wife was Sushila. So she was very religious, but in spite of all that, they did not have a child. So once she had gone to take a bath in the river Saraswati. Now in those times, river Saraswati used to flow through the central part of India, and she found there many other women were also taking their bath, and the children of all these women, they were playing nearby. So Sushila looked at this. Now obviously when you see some other people with their child and I'm not having a child, obviously we feel bad, right? Especially women. So then she could not control her emotions and she started crying. And at that time, a sage nearby, he saw her crying and asked what happened. So Sushila, she told her entire story that this is how all this. So now I'm crying for that. For so many years have passed. I'm so religious also, but still we are not able to beget children. So the sage says that you start worshipping Lord Gokarna, and you will definitely be blessed with a son. Sushila went home and she told her husband, and both of them they started worshipping Lord Gokarna Mahadeva. Now this Lord Gokarna is a form of Lord Shiva, Gokarna Mahadeva. So they started worshipping Gokarna Mahadeva with total devotion, and after 10 years a son was born to them. And Vasukarna, he named that child after Lord Gokarna, and as Lord Gokarna only, to express his gratitude, saying that I prayed to you and you have blessed me, so I will name my child as Gokarna. Now this Gokarna, he grew up and he also got married, but again he also had the same problem. He also could not beget children. So now what his father did, Vasukarna, what he did is he married him to 3 more women, saying that maybe the woman would have some problems, so I will marry him to other women. So one after another he did this, but this also did not help. So Gokarna, he remained a sonless person, like issueless. And then this also made Gokarna very sad, and he also did different kinds of religious activities, charity, this, that, this temple, that temple, generally as all of us also do. So same thing he did, saying that if I attain some blessings and good virtues, maybe I will also be blessed with a son. So he also started doing all this. He constructed many temples, he dug up wells, so he did a lot of public welfare activities like building up wells, donating in charity and so on. So ultimately what happened is all his money was spent in doing all these activities, and now he started worrying about the future of his family. Now because a child was not born to him, he ended up marrying 4 women. So now he had 3-4 wives, so he has to take care of all of them, and all his money also has been lost in doing all these different charitable and religious activities. So now he decided that I'll go off to a bit of far places, I'll earn some wealth and I'll come back. And once while he was going like this, he met a divine parrot and who possessed tremendous knowledge. Now can someone guess who's this Gokarna?
I think he comes in Bhagavatam.
The same Gokarna.
Yeah, the Narayanian also.
Yes. So the same Gokarna that is there, but here a bit we will not delve very deep into Gokarna's story, because in the Bhagavatam, if you see, you don't have much story about Gokarna. This comes in the Mahatmyam part, not in the main Bhagavatam as such. In the Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmyam, all this comes, and that also the Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmyam is not a part of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a part of which Purana? Mahatmyam?
Padma Purana.
Padma Purana. So Padma Purana, when we look at that also, we will see in detail, but now in the Varaha Purana also you have a reference to this Gokarna story. So the Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmyam as per Padma Purana does not go very deep with the story of Gokarna. It has other aspects like bhakti and so on it talks about, but here Varaha Purana delves a bit deep into Gokarna. So this is the same Gokarna from the Srimad Bhagavatam reference also. So this Gokarna, he met this divine parrot who was quite tremendous knowledge, nothing but Shuka Brahman as we call. And Gokarna was very impressed. He said, a parrot speaking like this, and he asked the parrot, from where did you learn all this such divine knowledge you are having? From where did you learn? And the parrot said that I am Shukodara. In my previous birth I was Shukodara, and I have attained the form of a parrot due to the curse of sage Shukadeva. But it is said that this Shukadeva now, he has been kind enough to, he said that you will have the same form of a parrot only, but you will regain all your knowledge. All the knowledge will be retained. And the parrot also told Gokarna that how he had been kept inside the sage, and he requested Gokarna that you please free me from the sage. Now if you see, as per the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Varaha Purana, there is a bit of difference in the story. But this is the same Gokarna, that's what I tried to say. So now Gokarna, he spoke to this hunter and said that you please free this parrot. It's a very learned parrot too. And this fowler, the hunter, he was also very smart. He said that okay, I'll free this parrot, but whatever virtues you have got, whatever good qualities or anything that you have learned in all these years, you have to teach me all that. In return, I will free the parrot. Gokarna agreed, and Gokarna now whatever virtues also he had, that also he had sold to this person, to this fowler. So he did not have anything at all. So while like this he was going about to different places and so on, and ultimately once he started traveling through a ship. So while he was going in a ship, there was a severe cyclone that came, and his chances of survival were very less. So all the people, all the fellow travelers who were there, they all felt that Gokarna was only responsible for this. He has only committed a lot of sins, this, that. So when in times of danger, we don't know how a person reacts, right? Anyone, they will tell it's because of you, it's because of you. We start blaming each other. So the same thing happened here also. All of them, they started blaming this Gokarna. And the parrot, it was saddened. Now the parrot was also there along with Gokarna. It had been freed, and it became very sad when people started talking ill about his master. So it decided and it to help the master, and it flew towards the north direction. And while flying, it found a Vishnu temple there where there were a lot of women and other creatures who were present there to worship the Lord. And it is said that the descendants of Jatayu from the Ramayana reference, they were also present there. And this parrot goes and he tells a story to all the birds who are there, and all the birds, they decide to help this Gokarna. So somehow all the birds together, they rescued Gokarna, and they brought him back to the same Vishnu temple. Gokarna worshipped Lord Keshava there, Lord Vishnu there. He performed the rituals of Tarpana in the name of his ancestors, and in that time all the divine women, they also came there. They were pleased to meet Gokarna. They gave him food and everything. They also told him that you stay for as long as you want. And meanwhile, what happened is the ship also, it managed to reach the seashore, and Gokarna's companions. So Gokarna's all fellow travelers, what they did is, Gokarna was still at the temple only. They saw this, they met Gokarna's parents and told them what all has happened. And Gokarna's parents at that time, they felt very sad for listening to their faith of their son, saying that he has put in so much efforts to beget a son, and ultimately he could not be successful. He lost all his wealth in that. He had to travel to different places. There also his ship was stranded. Then people started, so at that time people started talking ill about him, and then birds came to his rescue. So much he had to undergo. Those parents, both of them, they felt very bad. And on the other hand, Gokarna, he started to live in this temple only, and he was worried about his father, as it had been a long time since he had left his home. So he sent the parrot. He said that you go and meet my parents, and whatever news is there, you please come back and tell me. So the parrot flew away to Mathura and met his father Vasukarna, and he told that I'm so and so, I've come from your son Gokarna, and so on. So Vasukarna also, he said, conveyed his thanks and said that you please, thanks for saving my son's life and so on. You also convey our regards to him. So then the parrot flew back and gave the news to Gokarna. And one day, so with this topic ends. So all the divine ladies who used to come to this temple every day for worship, one day Gokarna found that all of them were sitting very sad. So he asked them what happened. So at that time they told that the king of Ayodhya, now this was some other king of Ayodhya, he had destroyed all the gardens of Mathura, and that is the reason why we are being very sad. So Gokarna told them that don't worry, I will ensure that I convince the king somehow and ensure that this plan that he had made, now he had all not actually destroyed, the king had just made a plan for kingdom expansion and so on. So he said that if I get a chance to meet the king, I will convince him to not destroy all these gardens. And then all the divine women who were there, they gave an aircraft to Gokarna and told him that you sit on this aircraft and you go and meet the king. And Gokarna, he met the king and he convinced him, saying that you don't destroy this garden. The king was extremely impressed by the knowledge. Now all this knowledge had been given by the parrot to Gokarna, and he gave him great amount of wealth also. In this way all the women also became happy. Gokarna also went back home because he had also earned a lot of wealth. He met all his family members, wives, parents and so on. And there Gokarna, he then constructed a temple for Shukadeva, and that is a learned parrot, and it was only because of the parrot that he could get such knowledge. And to express gratitude, he donated all the virtues he had acquired by taking bath in Triveni Sangama, because he knew that all the things that had happened, the hunter, he had to also give a thanksgiving to the hunter, because if the hunter had told that he don't sell me your virtues, he would have never met the parrot and so on. Right? So like this different things he does, and Gokarna, thus he lived happily for a long time. So this is the same story of the Srimad Bhagavatam reference. Next, with this topic of different tirthas ends. Now the next topic of the Varaha Purana talks about installation of idols. Now this might not make a lot of sense for us because at home usually we don't install temples also. But then in temples or in other places, like whenever we have the Ganesh Chaturthi festival, or if anyone has a plan of installing any idol, there are certain rules that have been mentioned. So we just look at all that in detail. So here Prithvi, she asks Varaha that you tell me proper methods of installing various types of idols. So Lord Varaha said that if you want to install a wooden idol, he starts with a wooden idol, and he says that a particular type of wood has to be selected. It should be purified and then it should be given shape as per the appearance of the deity, for whichever deity you want to build. Then the idol should be installed in a temple with the proper way of installation, the Kumbhabhisheka and so on. Then different items like camphor, turmeric, that is vermicelli, sandalwood, incense sticks, all this has to be offered. And the swastika mark should always be drawn as a sign of auspiciousness. And the swastika mark must be carved on the idol. That is the reason you see, you go to certain temples, even on the Lord also, the idol of the Lord also, you will have the swastik mark that is drawn. Then other signs of Lord Vishnu, Srivatsa, Kaustubha, Shankha, Chakra, that also can be drawn on the idol. And different mantras have to be chanted to invoke the deity and to make sure that the deity is very much present in this idol also that is being constructed. After all this, the wood is no longer a lifeless structure. The wood from that minute will not be regarded as a wood, it will be considered to be the Lord himself. And then worship and everything starts. Kheer has to be offered. First thing is a payasa which has to be offered, and then burning of ghee or sesame oil lamps that we usually do, all that is done. And then around the temple, as we do a pradakshina, the devotee also should do the same, and he should keep on chanting the mantra Om Namo Narayanaya. Now here, because it is Varaha Purana, Varaha is talking in the case of installation of Lord Vishnu. It can be for any god, and thus the idol should be installed. It should be worshipped daily without failure. So just as in any temple you go, you have the puja that is being done every day, right? So this is quite similar to that. Next is stone idol. Now usually stone idols are found in certain places wherein very pure and spotless, that is, the stone should be very pure. It should not have some cracks or some other spots and designs on it. Pure plain stone has to be taken, and here a sculptor has to be called. He should draw the outline of the deity and all that, and then akshata has to be sprinkled. Akshata is the yellow colored rice, has to be sprinkled on the idol to make it pure. Then a ghee lamp has to be burnt. Lord Vishnu has to be invoked by chanting the same mantra Om Namo Narayanaya. Then all the installation, everything has to be done. A fast should be observed for the whole night, and next morning white clothes has to be put on by the priest, and the old Yajnopavita has to be changed with a new Yajnopavita, and then only the idol is considered fit to be worshipped. Then for installation of stone idols, the Purva Bhadrapada nakshatra that we have, that is considered, you can consider maybe even the starting of the Purva Bhadrapadaman, that is considered to be very auspicious. And when all this installation is being done, the devotee should live only on milk and maybe barley and such lapsi, how we cut. So on light food items, that is there. And 4 lamps should be lit, and about 4 small pots should be there in front, that we call the Panchagavya, right? So from cow products, different products that are there, sandalwood, milk, water and so on. And all these rituals are considered to be incomplete if Vedic mantras are not chanted. So Vedic rituals, Vedic scholars should be called in, lot of Vedic mantras must be chanted and so on. So basically now all this where you can follow at a personal level, maybe at our houses we will not do all this. But maybe as a family, some people pledge to maybe, build a temple in your hometown, or we have the Kumbhabhisheka that takes place in our own villages, right? So there all these rules are usually followed, and all this has been mentioned in the Varaha Purana. Next is earthen, that is mud and copper idols. How they should be installed is, they should, an earthen pot should be taken, a mud pot without any crack signs in it. And during the Shravana Nakshatra is considered to be very auspicious for installing earthen or idols made of copper. And then some mantras are chanted, then different pujas, everything is done, articles of worship. Holy water, Panchagavya. Holy water is maybe those rose water that we put. So maybe good fragrant water, sandalwood, all that is used. And the rituals are quite similar to that we do of a wooden or stone idol. And the best time is copper idol, this earthen idol, mud idol, the best time to install is during the Shravana Nakshatra. And for copper, it is the Chitra Nakshatra that comes in. And this idol, the copper idol, should be installed facing the north direction, and it should also be purified. Different mantras have to be chanted, and then all the rituals can be done. Next is a bronze idol. So it has to be installed during the Jyeshta Nakshatra, and it should also be installed facing the north direction. And 4 pots have to be kept with Panchagavya, water, sandalwood, and honey, and other rituals, chanting of mantras, Vedas, and so on has to be done. Next is silver and gold idols. If you have to do this, now someone maybe gifts us an idol. Usually some people, they have this habit of gifting idols, right? So this, maybe you can follow this. Usually of that past plaster of Paris and all only are the idols that are gifted. You go to a gift shop or so, idols are usually of plaster of Paris. So that is earthen. Then that you can consider that to be a form of mud only. So you can follow this method of earthen worship that we do. You can just install it. So when people gift us maybe an idol, a Lord idol also, you can follow this method only. So next is silver and gold idols. When how they have to be installed is same as we have the bronze idol. So everything is same as a bronze idol. You keep 4 pots. You have to worship during the Jyeshta Nakshatra and so on. Now Prithvi here tells Lord Varaha that you name a few deities whom a devotee can worship at home. They don't have to go to a temple, maybe at home. So Lord Vishnu replied that a devotee can worship any deity at home. Any god you worship, there is no problem. But 2 Shivalingas should not be worshipped. Similarly, 3 Shaligramas, 3 Durga idols, 2 Surya idols, all this should be prohibited. So these are all the rules that have been told in the Vishnu Purana, in the Varaha Purana. You can, if you want, make a note of this. And a devotee should never worship saligramas adding up to odd numbers. Now some people usually when they travel to some religious place, they will have these shaligramas. Maybe we buy it for ourselves, one might be there in our family, a third one someone might gift you and so on. So like this there might be many shaligramas in few houses. So we should not worship them in odd numbers like 3, 5, 7 and so on. It should always be even. There is no harm in worshipping one shaligrama. Though 1 is an odd number, you can worship 1, but 3, 5, 7 other odd numbers, it should not be worshipped. And never cracked or broken idol, all such things should not be worshipped. And on the saligrama, you have to draw a chakra mark that is auspicious for Lord Vishnu. And the saligrama, even if it is broken or so, also some people say that you can worship that. But otherwise, normal idols or even photographs of Lord, gods and everything, we should not worship if they are broken. Then 12 shaligramas, if we worship together, that is equal as if we are worshipping 12 crore Shivalingas. So that is the amount of bhakti that is there. And the Charanamrita is a ritual that is done for worshipping this saligrama worship. Now what is this Charanamrita? I will tell you. Does anyone have shaligrama at home?
What is the saligrama, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
Saligrama is a stone. Asha, you all don't know what's a saligrama. I'll tell you.
I have a saligrama.
You have it, right? Saligrama is just like a Shivalinga only. It's a Shila. I'll just show you his picture.
I think we get it from
That's
the.
what I have in the house, Saligram. We keep it over on the right Mahadev Pindam.
Yes, yes. So this is the Shaligrama that is there. So you see somewhat similar to a Shivalinga, but it is not very, it will not be in a proper shape. There can be different shapes also of a Saligrama. So this is how it looks and it is worshipped. Okay.
Lakshmi ji, some look like Narasimha carved out.
Narasimha, yes. So usually the Shaligrama is for the worship of Lord Vishnu. So that is the reason why Shaligrama can also be in the shape of different Vishnu avatars. Now for Shaligrama, the most popular prasada that is done is the Charanamrita. Now does anyone know what is the Charanamrita? People maybe in North India, you will be knowing that. No?
Yeah, it is made up of 5, milk, ghee.
Yeah,
And,
milk, ghee, I think sugar, honey.
Yes, honey.
Yeah.
honey, Ganga jal, and
I think tulsi
one
leaves,
more.
right? Tulsi leaves, coconut, and all that you put in that.
Yes,
So
yes,
and it
yes.
is and it also
Panchamrit in Maharashtra.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Panchamrit. Yeah.
yeah. So Panchamrit
Candles.
is quite
We know, ma'am.
yeah. Panchamrit is quite common that we have in Central and South India that we do. But this Charanamrit, this recipe is mainly, or this prasada is mainly used for the worship of Saligrama, wherein you mix all these milk, ghee, yogurt, and you put in tulsi leaves, and Ganga jal is also put in. And I think there's lotus seeds are put. Lotus seeds are, I think, nowadays a lot of people eat, right? Makhana. What do you call that? Makhana. Puffed. I don't know.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
yeah, so I don't know.
Makhana.
Maybe,
I think. Poha.
not poha.
Makhana.
Makhana maybe. I don't know if people in the south are very familiar, but in central and north it's makhana. I think now it has become a trend to eat that. Wherever you go, people purchase that and they keep
South
eating.
also everyone eats now.
But I don't know what they call. Do they call it
It's a
makhana?
corn, ma'am. It's a corn.
Sort of corn. I'll just show you if it is there.
Okay.
Maybe the
It is
name
puffed corn.
puffed corn you can consider. I'll just show you the picture.
Puffed rice or puffed corn?
No, not puffed rice. Puffed rice is poha. I'll just show you the picture. Maybe you can relate. I don't know what this is. This is that makhana. So I don't know in South whether you South India, I don't know what they call it. People might be eating in central parts also now. Central and North India
It is
also.
lotus seed, no ma'am. It is lotus seed.
Lotus seed, yes. Lotus seed is what
Yeah.
is there. So you call that as makhana usually. And
Yeah.
usually,
Ma'am, I eat also.
yeah. So
We make
usually
ghee
many,
also out of it.
yeah. So what you do is mainly it is used for all these prasada purposes, and nowadays I think because people are health conscious, this and that, people end up buying all this. You just roast, fry it, and eat. So that's what it is.
We will eat, ma'am. We will eat
Huh.
this one.
So
Yes, good for health.
not very common. Like not everyone is fox nut. Okay, so not everyone eats
Actually,
this.
it is very costly, ma'am.
Acha, that can also be one thing. So I have not, I personally also have not eaten, but then I've seen a few people who has not a very common, maybe like poha or so, that is quite common, right? Puffed rice, but this is not like that. So, but still people eat that, and especially in this Charanamrita recipe, this is put, that is lotus seeds. They are crushed and put, and this prasada is mainly offered for this saligrama. And one who offers this is said to be free from all sins. Yeah.
Also, this when we are doing Devika Jagrata, no,
Huh.
or we do that. At that time, what we offer afterwards as prasadam,
That is
definitely
this.
this will be there in that.
This, correct.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah, so usually,
Cut into pieces. Panchamrit also.
Pancham, correct. So even like Abhilasha ji said also, usually this is like a fast item. How people have that wafer, sabudana and all that. So it is quite similar to that. So during fast or for making prasada and those chivda sort of things, this item is used in, maybe not very popular. So this is a main prasada, that is Charanamrita is offered to Shaligrama. And there should be no buying and selling of saligrama that is done. So even for the case of Shivalinga also, people say that you should not, like at least in Shivalinga now, usually people still buy that. So you buy and keep it, that is there, but usually we should never like buy and sell saligrama and so on. Like someone in your family should give it to you. So it should be as a family tradition, or maybe a priest comes and they properly hand over to you and all that. So it is very, very auspicious. It's not that you just go to a puja store or show, you get an idol for yourself, you just keep it in your puja area. No, proper way of worship and everything has to be done. So like this, there are different rituals that have been done with regards to this saligrama also.
Madam, excuse
Yes.
me. It is passed from generation to generation. Sir.
Yes, correct. So usually it is, these are all something which have to be passed from one generation to another. So it should not like, I want to do this, so I go and just take that, pick it up. So that should not be there. But then nowadays now many people have this, like, it is not being done in my family, but then I want to do and so on. So in that case, it depends on you. So if you want, but for that also you have to go and consult the priest properly, one who has got knowledge and so on. So with this, all these different installation of different idols end, we'll just look at one small topic and then we'll continue next time. Next is the concept of Prakriti and Purusha. Prakriti and Purusha. So Lord Shiva, this once he was talking about an incident wherein he sees Lord Narayana. So wherein he had got a glimpse of Lord Narayana, and Lord Shiva tells Agastya that Purusha is none but Lord Narayana, and Prakriti is a medium through which he shows his powers. So Prakriti we relate to the goddess. Without the goddess, the god cannot be worshipped. So Lord Shiva says that I am very fortunate. I have got a glimpse of this Purusha. And Lord Brahma, after creating all this, he told me, as we have seen earlier also, he had told Rudra that you also please help me in creation. Rudra said that no, I cannot do this, I am not very familiar in that. So I decided that I will do penance, and I went into the ocean. So inside the ocean, Lord Shiva says that I saw an entity, like a small something I saw. It was no big than the thumb that is there. And he was this Narayana, he was this Purusha. And I recognized him, and I started meditating on that form of this Purusha. 11 more entities came with me, and they were all very, even they very shiny, and the water itself became hot because of the heat that was coming out from their bodies. I asked them who they were, but all those 11 people, they did not reply anything. And next minute I saw an extremely handsome person. I asked him and about the 11 entities also, who they are and so on. They were the 11 Adityas, and the 12th one is Lord Vishnu himself. And it is said that these 11 Adityas, they have taken birth to help Lord Brahma in the process of creation. So this is what is told. And then this 12th person, there is a person who was there in front, he said, Lord Shiva tells that he told me that I am Lord Narayana himself. I am blessing you with divine vision so that you can see my divine appearance. That is nothing but the Purusha form. And then Shiva says that when I fixed my glance at Narayana, I was to see that thumb-sized Narayana standing before me. But he was now quite longer than a thumb also. He had expanded his body like a Virat Swarupa, as we saw, like a giant size. And there I saw Lord Brahma sitting on the flower, and with complete devotion I worshipped the Lord, and he blessed me saying that you are eternal. Lord Shiva is also eternal, there is nothing beyond your knowledge, you will also be worshipped. And 12 incarnations, I will take place 12 incarnations, Lord Vishnu tells us, and each of my incarnation I will worship you. That's the reason the Rama Avatara, Rama worships Shiva, Krishna Avatar also Krishna worships, and many avatars we have. This again shows a unity between Shiva, Vishnu, Shaivism and Vaishnavism. And having all this, Lord Narayana disappears, and this is how is the story wherein Lord Shiva sees the divine form of Purusha, that is Lord Narayana. So with this we will stop here. Today time is up, no time to start something new. We'll continue next time.